National Weather Service. CK.
Meteorologist, but I'm also a science and operations officer. So for the folks a little bit more mature in the audience, it's that Spock thing, you know, science officer. But what's real neat about that is that I get to level, you know, the seagull people. They call a noble mission, and not many have this, and we're very privileged to have it. But our job is to protect lives, what we call our community. You drive all the way down to Lake Okeechobee, and that's still our backyard at any time.
It's like the Albuquerque weather forecast. Group has the short end of the stick there.
yeah, it's a little tough out there. Here, you know, no boating interest, no cruise ships, you know, no shipping, you know. So about 23 of us here that work in this office and cover that large area of responsibility. But we're here 24 hours a day. We also have a good experience base, which means we have quite a few folks. One of the things that we do have an aviation forecaster that's working on the floor that is producing the forecast, the aviation forecast, which has sky cover, ceiling, reasons why some of us live here. But there's also a lot of commerce boating, a lot of charter boating that takes place here. A lot of it in the intercoastal because they wanted it to be there. Or a prescribed burn, which means I'm going to burn this area off so it doesn't burn later in the spring. You and I are just looking for what's the weather today. It's like Colorado and it's going to freeze in Florida, and you know, and you want to change all that. How do you know it's going to freeze in Florida? Because the forecast says so. We have a lot of hurricanes in Florida, you know that. Tropical storms too, a weaker version of a hurricane. Together, you may hear us talk about tropical cyclone hazards, all the hazards that can occur in the area, and we have. And then to consider every day whether or not the hazard's low, go off, right? Well, that's done out. So, since we're doing threat assessments all the time, if we see a hazardous condition evolving to the point where we think it's pretty likely done our best, you know, we either got a report of it, we got an observation of it, or we've done our best. Pea size, and the wind gusts, well, it blew a couple palm fronds around. But you should have seen the lightning. Through 5 tornadoes. Those are the strong and violent ones, and rain bands and hurricanes. Yeah. That's the biggest contributor. But Florida's number one. Are you going to warn on every lightning bolt? And that's the challenge, right? So there's a lot of social aspects that are being pulled into that, but we're working on it. Site at weather.gov. And visit us on Facebook.
To her left, I want to show you, this is, I don't know if any of you have NOAA weather radios, but this computer system, this is radar, which is right out here, that is listening for radar returns that are coming back. I'll come back to this workstation. Right now we have an urban flood advisory that is in effect for Indian River, St. Lucie, and Martin counties. See, there's no satellite because it's still night out. One of the things we also look at are weather models. This is the GFS model. This is a global model, building southward, and it's going to push that moisture to the south and away for hours and show something completely different. And when different the year in Melbourne. So you can see these wildly varying totals over the course of a short period of time. Rain increasing across portions of Brevard County later this afternoon. Sometimes it can be a little technical, but we try to write in clear English at least, and not abbreviate too much. Well, fairly overcast. Let's take a look at the sky forecast today. Yeah, 80%, and tomorrow is our 10-county forecast area. And we can organize the different counties into groups if we choose. If the forecast, try to make a better forecast, we separate the counties into different zones. So when happy gets transmitted, it goes to the weather radio, and you can hear it in August, September. But then this time of year, we don't look so much to the south. Our weather really comes from the north and west, from television. They don't get it from us directly, and so it's in everyone's interest that we're all on the same page. And what that's what they do.
So you think they actually come up with their own models?
Well,
are they not?
And hopefully they don't feel that they're in competition with us. We're not on television or radio.
Do you have access to their feeds as well? I mean, if
not radar here, there's actually like a cone of silence right at the radar, so we can actually see what's going on right at this other measurement of wind. It's used a lot by the boaters boaters kind of think in knots, whereas landlubbers think of miles per hour.
I think what he's thinking too is the visual.
Automated alert that says the storm's conversation that cues you to look.
Here, I'll show you for example, for a severe thunderstorm warning, and call to actions. What should people do? What is this cell?
Yeah, so like the airport, it has a mechanism by which they receive a warning. Is it like a specific? I don't know. I mean,
If you were actually go inside there, there would hardly be any room for you to like walk. That are precipitation estimates. It's also going to be able to allow us to discern between precipitation types. So Hurricane Andrew actually did take out the Miami radar. I think they received a gust right before the radar went down of up to 160. That's a good question. I think it's usually like about the way that our velocity products are set up, I believe. And inside of it is this tube. So this funnel is going inside this tube. Into that instrument panel that I showed you before we walked outside. This is our